Hey there, witches. This is Devin Hunter, host of the Modern Witch Podcast, and I'm here bringing you videos. Today's video was inspired by one of the most popular questions that I get asked as a professional witch, which is, why don't my spells work? So here we go. Here are 5 tips to casting more effective spells. Number 1, don't yo-yo your energy. Let it go and let it flow. One of the worst mistakes that we make as modern practitioners is that we kind of get caught up in the itty-bitty shitty-committee in the back of your head. The minute you cast a spell, 30 seconds later or so, you start to wonder, is it really gonna work? Did I really do it right? Don't worry about any of that stuff. Once you've cast it, let it be. Number 2, anticipate the interference. We're all taught to use divination before we cast a spell, but we're not really taught what we're supposed to be looking for. If you're worried about casting effective spells, then that's what you need to be asking. How do I cast the spell effectively? What do I need to do in order to really make it work? Sometimes you'll find that spirits have something to say about it. Maybe you have something to say about it and you're just not being honest with yourself. Either way, the best way to make sure that your spells are going to work is to actually look and see if they're going to work. And if the answer is no, then you need to follow that up with, what do I need to do to make it work? Number 3, do the legwork. It's not enough just to cast a spell for money and then not go to your day job. One of the things that we often talk about is making sure that energy is going to follow the path of least resistance. We were talking about interference before. Here's a really good example. One of the ways that we get into our own way is not doing the legwork. So fix that next time you cast a spell. How you fix that is actually by thinking about what you're going to need to do in order to make it real. That means that if you're going to cast a spell for money, don't just play lottery. Actually go, look for new opportunities, look for ways that you can open up that road for yourself. If you're going to cast a spell for love, then actually make sure you love yourself first. That's another tip right there. Love spells, those are tricky. The best love spell you can ever cast is a love spell on yourself, and by making those subtle changes, somebody's going to be attracted to you. Confidence is sexy. Number 4, feel the power. What I mean by this is it's not enough to stand up and invoke something and then cast your spell and walk away with questions. The best way to know that your spells work is that you feel them. You gotta feel them in your gut. You gotta feel them in your blood. What we do in my tradition is that we approach spell casting and ritual casting and any sort of magic with the idea and the concept rooted into our heart that we have to feel the energies moving through us. If we don't feel the energy moving through us, we take more time. Magic isn't a game, and magic isn't a race. And finally, number 5. The best way to make sure that you are casting effective spells is to cast more spells. I know it might sound a little strange, but practice makes perfect and makes the devil pretty happy. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, the more spells you cast, the more confident you're going to be with your magic, and the more confident you're going to be with the way that your magic is manifesting. Another thing that I like to do, little side note here, is that once you cast a spell and you find out that yes, it has been effective, write that down in your journal. Ask yourself, how did it feel when I cast that spell? What did I do that made me know this spell worked? And in return, how do you know that the spell is going to work again? Okay, well that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. You can find out more by going to modernwitchonline.com or devinhunter.net. You can also find me at the Mystic Dream Academy, where I teach Black Rose Witchcraft, which is an all-new interactive online experience for witches just like you. I hope you check out my AV Club favorited podcast, Modern Witch, which you can find on iTunes or Podpickle or any of those other things that you find podcasts on. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.